Hello, hello everybody. I hope everyone is doing well right now. Yesterday on Wednesday we had a quick Zoom call with everyone and it was so nice to see everybody's faces. So I hope everyone is doing well, and those who were not able to join us on that, we miss seeing you. Now, make sure that you're washing your hands and that you're also taking some time to go outside, have some fun, de-stress a little bit, get in that sunshine, get some of that fresh air, as well as try to, if you live in a neighborhood, stay away from a bunch of people. And while you're doing things, make sure that you're washing your hands, okay? Stay healthy, guys. We want to see you soon. Now, today we're going to be focusing on lesson 17, examine how characters change. Now, with this lesson, I'm starting off by putting in the link for the Padlet. We know that some people are having trouble with the tiny URLs that have been sent out if you're using a school laptop. So this is the actual website address without the tiny URL. So if you have any questions or if you need to kind of look into see on this work, this is the Padlet address for the 6th grade Padlet. Okay, this is the one for the 6th grade Padlet. Now, on the 6th grade Padlet for the ELA section, if you're paying attention, we're posting the videos there. We're also posting some audiobook stuff as well. And so just keep up with that there, all right? So moving on, so we can talk about lesson 17, examining how characters change. So let's take a step back to lesson 16. Lesson 16, we looked at Billy Joe's tone, and we saw how it hinted at the changes that she's undergoing, okay? We also wrote a poem from Daddy's perspective. So you should have written 3 stanzas written from Daddy's perspective, okay? So we talked about that with Outline by Dust, and how just choosing 3 of those stanzas and just rewrite it, keeping the same form, keeping the same style of it, just from Daddy's point of view, okay? So make sure that when you're done writing that you type in your answer that you've put into that Microsoft form that was added in the description, or there's a link to it in the description below lesson 16. All of these videos have the links to those forms where you're going to type in your answers after you've written them in your reading log, okay? We're wanting you to type those in, or do both, because 1, we want you to be able to see your answers, and 2, we want to be able to see those answers, okay? So writing it is going to let you have those answers with you as you're writing and doing other stuff, so you can look back and see what you've thought, see what you've said, and then putting it in the Microsoft form allows me and Miss Deschamps to be able to go in and kind of see how you're doing, making sure you're staying on track. All right, in lesson 16, we started reading Winter 1935, and here in lesson 17, we're going to finish reading Winter 1935. We're also going to examine new information about the Dust Bowl, and we're going to add new information to our character analysis charts. Now make sure that as you're doing these videos, as you're following along with these videos, that you're pressing pause when you need to press pause, that you're rewinding it, and once you've rewound it, if you need to like fast forward through what you've already seen, then do that, okay? These are meant for you to follow at your own pace. So take your time, go through it, don't rush yourself, and don't stress. All right, so let's look at what you're going to need for lesson 17. Now in lesson 17, you're going to need 3 things. Your copy of Out of the Dust. Remember, you can use a book copy if you have one, or you can use the PDF that's on the 6th grade Padlet. All right, I have that at the link at the very beginning of the video. Just write that down and follow that to get to that. You're also going to need a character analysis chart. Now there is a character analysis chart on page 30 of your purple folder. So fill out that character analysis chart to kind of help you figure out how you're going to answer the EdTech ticket at the end of the video. And then finally, you're going to need your reading log. Remember, your reading log is simply the notebook paper that's in the back of your purple folder. All right, let's get going. So let's go ahead and finish reading Winter 1935. And I want you to start off with page 111, Outline by Dust. I know we finished that on lesson 16, but go ahead and read it again and be reacquainted with what happened in Outline by Dust. And then I want you to finish with page 149, which is Following in His Steps. Okay, that is the last poem of Winter 1935. Now, as you're reading these poems, I want you to keep 2 lists. The first is new information that you're learning about life in the Dust Bowl, and the second is unfamiliar vocabulary words. So make sure that as you're reading, you're keeping lists for both of those bullet points that are down below at the bottom of the slide. Now, go ahead, press pause, read or listen to the audiobook that is on the 6th grade Padlet, and then press play when you're ready to begin. All right, go ahead and press pause now. Now, you should have finished reading Winter 1935. So let's talk about, what did you read that was new to you? So maybe reading that the kids actually cooked lunch in the schoolhouse. Okay, it wasn't adults that did it, but the kids that did it themselves. Or maybe the fact that alcohol is illegal. You could have also put down that the children and adults dance together, or that the babies are wearing feed sack nighties. Remember, why did they wear the feed sack nighties? Why couldn't they afford regular cloth? Why did they have to use those feed sacks? And then you could have also put down that people are dying from this dust, okay? Those are some life events. Now again, if you put some other things down, that's completely fine, but those are some things that kind of help you to give you an idea. Now let's talk about which words were unfamiliar. Now, some of the things that could have popped up were moonshine. You don't really hear that as much. Or you could have looked at the apple pandowdy. Now, apple pandowdy is actually something that's pretty delicious. It's a type of food. So maybe you're not familiar with that type of food. But there's also things like civics and biddies, and also too, dust pneumonia. Now that's different because pneumonia is an illness that people still get now that affects how their lungs. So what exactly could dust pneumonia be, and could it be dangerous? Now remember the last fact for the life in the Dust Bowl. The people are dying for the dust. So you can pay attention to see that dust pneumonia and that fact could be tied in close together. Now let's go ahead and let's look at our next little section about looking at specific words, okay? Now let's look at these two excerpts, or these two passages from Winter 1935, and let's talk about, why do you think that the author chose to use the word sigh and what effect it might have on the reader? So if you look, sigh is bolded because that's the word that we want to focus on. And on the first excerpt, okay, the first little section from Winter 1935, let's read that and talk about it a little bit. Now, the first one goes like this. I turn my back on him as he goes, and settle myself in the parlor, and touch Ma's piano. My fingers leave sighs in the dust. And that's from the poem Night School. Now, why do you think that the author uses sighs here? Okay? Now, I think, okay, that the author is using the word sigh here as a metaphor. Okay? Now, if you look about it, a sigh is a sound that people make whenever they're upset about something. So a lot of times if people are sad, they'll make that sigh. Okay? Now, if you look on here, she's comparing the trails of dust that are lingering to a sigh that could be lingering. Okay, because sometimes people can make lingering sighs where they're just making that sound. They're going, okay, but they make that sound where it's just continued on. Okay, so again, sigh in here is used as a metaphor in this first excerpt to kind of make you think about a sigh that someone makes whenever they're lingering or they're sad. Now let's look at the second excerpt from Dust Storm. The wind took my voice and busted it into 1,000 pieces. So small the sound blew out over Ma and Franklin's grave, thinner than a sigh. Now you notice again, there's a comparison here that's not using like or as, just like there was a comparison without using like or as in that first excerpt. So that can let me know, or let us know, that sigh in this second excerpt, or the second little portion from that poem, is used as a metaphor again. Okay, so in this one, what the author is doing is they're using the sigh to talk about how the wind is catching Billie Joe's voice and it's breaking it apart to where you can't hear it. Because normally when you hear a sigh, it's not soft. It's not an agitated sigh that's really, really loud. It's a very soft sigh that's really hard to hear. And so she's talking about how the voice is taking it to where Billie Joyce's voice can't be heard. Now, what could that do? What effect could that have on the reader with knowing that sigh is used as a metaphor? Well, something that we can do is we can look at that. We can look at the metaphors, and we can see that Karen Hess is using the sigh as a metaphor to show the reader that Billie Joe is depressed and sad, because people normally sigh when they're sad. So let's go ahead and let's move on to our character analysis chart, because we can see now that Billie Joe isn't doing very well because she's lost her mom. She's living in this dust storm. So let's go ahead and let's talk about Billie Joe as a character. Now, Go back through and review the poems in winter 1935, like all of the poems that we started with. Now on your character analysis chart, now this is the chart on page 30, I want you to fill in this information about Billy Joe and Daddy in this chart. Now remember, go ahead, fill it all in, because now we're seeing some of the decisions that both Billy Joe and Daddy have made and how they're living with those decisions and what they're learning from those decisions, because we're seeing a definite change in Billy Joe and Daddy from the beginning of the text, okay, from the beginning of the story. So go ahead, pause this video, review the poems in winter 1935, fill out the chart. Remember, there's both sides, okay? Fill out that chart and then press play and continue on when you're ready to go. Okay, you should have finished reading your reviewing winter 1935, and you should have finished filling in your character analysis chart. Every single box should be filled in, because what you're doing is you're looking at this character analysis chart to now help you answer this question, okay? So the question is this: what sort of relationship do Billy Joe and Daddy have at this point in the novel? Are they close? Is it strained? Think about that. Now, once you have made your claim, go ahead and put 2 pieces of text evidence in the form of quotations to support your answer. Okay, so again, use this sentence to start a claim. Okay, so go ahead and put Billy Joe and Daddy have put an adjective there, relationship at this point in the novel. Okay, now the 2 pieces of text evidence don't have to be something that they're specifically saying, okay, because I know that's something that people have gotten confused with before. Those 2 pieces of text evidence can be simply something that they're doing, or Billy Joe is thinking. So make sure that you're kind of keeping your mind out. So what are their words, what are their actions, and what are their thoughts? Now right now we're hearing a lot of Billy Joe's thoughts. We're reading some words, but we're seeing quite a few actions. So make sure that you're keeping all of that in mind. Go ahead, write your response to this in your reading log, and once you're finished writing your response, go to the link for the Microsoft form and copy your response there. Now there's going to be a link in the description here, but I'm also attaching the link here. You can't click on it, this is just for you to view it so you can know what it looks like in the description. So go ahead, pause the video, write down your answer to this question, and then press play when you're ready to move on. Alright, that's it for lesson 17. So again, you discovered how the characters of Billy Joe and Daddy are changing, and you did this by finishing reading winter 1935, reviewing the entire playlist or chapter, and then filling out that character analysis chart. Now you should have noticed that they are changing. They're not as happy as they used to be because of things that have going on, because of the accident, because of the loss of Mama and Franklin. Now you also wrote about the relationship between the characters and included quotations from the text. Now your response to that exit ticket is how you wrote about that. So make sure that you're writing that in your reading log and that you're also putting your information into the Microsoft form. So write it down in your reading log and then put it into the Microsoft form. Keeping it in your reading log is going to help you in the future when you actually start writing. So having that now is going to help you later. All right. Now, we're not going to be putting on any new videos for a little bit. The next video that we post is going to be lesson 22. So if you see that and you don't see 18 through 21, we've done that on purpose. We're actually taking those lessons out, and we're going to talk about some stuff later. There was actually 2 writing tasks in this unit, but considering everything that's going on, we're taking out that first writing task and we're jumping ahead and looking at themes in the text. Okay, so the next video that you'll be seeing is lesson 22, uncover emerging themes. So again, we miss you. I miss you a lot. I am happy I got to see some of y'all on Zoom whenever we had that conference, and I hope we're able to do another one soon. But anyway, bye. I'll see y'all soon. See ya.